What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Starcraft 2 video. This one features two of the best Protoss players on the planet, spawning here in the bottom right-hand corner of Acid Planet LE, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He evened up the score and wants to win this thing right here and right now. His name is sOs. And his opponent spawning in the cross position, playing with the red Protoss pieces. The series is currently tied, but he wants to go ahead and try to finish this thing off right here and right now in this best of 3 series. His name is Zest. So, guys and girls, this series has been nothing short of spectacular. It's been an absolutely incredible matchup between two of the best Protoss players out there, arguably. And I gotta say, guys, sOs, that was the best response you could possibly ask for as far as a Protoss player is concerned when it comes to this matchup. You lose game number 1 in really, incredible fashion by your opponent. But then you come back in game number 2 and you absolutely shut down essentially his entire mineral line, his worker count, everything. You did absolutely perfectly. So the question is now, with either of these players, what do you decide to do in this kind of situation against one of these players? Like, what do you do if you're Zest and the series is tied up? Do you go for some cheese here in game number 3, or do you just play a standard macro focus game? It'll be very interesting, to say the least. Both players going for that double gateways into the cybernetics core with the double assimilators as well. This production tab is basically very, very similar, as you all can see, and that's the case with pretty much every PvP for the most part in the early stages of the game. We are going to start seeing a change, though, in unit compositions. We're going to see a couple of Adepts coming out as Zest, and then a Sentry as well as a Stalker coming out of sOs. Warp Gate is being researched by both players out of the Cybernetics core. Does look like both players, nothing too out of the ordinary, at least at this point in the game. Does not look like there's anything that is too alarmingly off by either player. So we might be getting ourselves a macro-focused game, to say the least, and I think that would be very, very interesting, to say the least, between these two, because these first two games really haven't gone past 10 minutes. So they've been relatively shorter matches. Not super short, but pretty short matches between these two players. Got a couple of Adepts that are starting to move across the map here for Zest. Probably going to try to get a little bit of some scouting information here. Is going to see that the unit of choice is going to be some Stalkers that are coming out here. We're going to see that natural Nexus coming out of our Protoss player in blue. And on the opposite side, we're just going to start seeing more and more gateways coming up here, as well as the robotics facility for Zest. So, like I said, nothing too out of the ordinary, at least at this point. We are gonna go ahead and we are gonna see the War Prism coming out. Now here we go, a Dark Shrine. So proxy Dark Shrine by sOs. I love this. He is gonna go ahead and do essentially exactly what Zest did in game number 1. And I love that decision making a lot. Warp Gate's going to be finishing up here a little bit shorter for Zest than for sOs. Going to have a couple of those Stalkers that are going to start trying to do a little bit of some damage to the natural Nexus. Is going to get the cancel on that Nexus. So this is very interesting play here by both these players. Blink is going to be researched here right now for sOs. And the question is who's going to have the advantage here? There's going to be 4 Stalkers versus 3. And you got to be very careful when you're dealing with this kind of situation. Getting the cancel on that natural Nexus is massive for Zest. Here we go. Zest is going to try to start moving into that main base location. Got to be very careful that you do not overextend. We are going to get a couple of shield batteries out for sOs. So sOs is going to try to do what he can to do as much damage as possible to one of those. One of these gateways does go down, but the Dark Shrine is now finishing up. So this is going to become a very interesting element. The element of a possible surprise here, once again, by by Zest. I mean, Zest is really about to find out very quickly what's about to happen when there's a you know, a Dark Templar or two that are going to be coming out. I'm not sure if there's going to be another one coming out here, but this Dark Templar is going to start doing a little bit of some damage here, most likely against some of these units. So it's definitely something we got to keep an eye on here. And that Dark Templar is going to start moving and start doing massive damage here. And this is exactly what sOs wanted to do. He wanted to do as much damage as possible, getting so much value. Does look like an observer is now going to be coming out here, but just like that, this Dark Templar is doing absolutely so much damage. Beautiful play, and then we are going to go ahead and see the mass recall. And oh my god, what an intense, well, just beautiful play here by sOs. Absolutely brilliant play. Now we are going to see some adepts that are across the map doing some damage here to sOs and his economy at this point. So this is kind of a back and forth battle right now. Those adepts trying to go in for that you know, that counterattack against the Dark Templar, but that's just textbook kind of play here. And sOs just playing, you know, kind of giving Zest a little bit of a taste of his own medicine there. Does look like more and more of these adepts are going to be coming up here into the main base location. They are going to shade in there, and they're going to try to do a little bit of some damage. Some force fields are going to come in here, and it does look like those stalkers are going to blink and start going after those adepts. Nice play there by sOs, but Zest is going to get out of there with really not much damage being dealt. So we're starting to move into you know, the later stages of this game, you know, moving towards the 7-minute mark. Those adepts are going to shade in once again, going after more and more of these probes, getting a decent amount of value out of these adepts. Beautiful play here by Zest, taking a lead now in the supply count. He is playing this thing brilliantly, and on the opposite side, sOs is trying to see what kind of damage he can possibly do against this unit composition. Now we do have that War Prism is starting to kind of threaten here to do some damage. There's a couple of observers out now, so those Dark Templars are probably going to get shut down relatively quickly. We are going to go ahead and we are going to see that there is a forge going down now for Zest, and it looks like sOs is going to go ahead and see that proxy pylon. Now there are more and more of these adepts that are coming in here, and these adept drops are giving so much value to Zest, really helping keep some of the army of sOs at home. And this is what I was saying when I said that both these players are so even in skill sets, guys. It's unbelievable how good both these players are, but it's more so. It's not just how good they are. It's even more than that. It's just they are so similar in skill sets that it makes for a very, very fun matchup between these two. And just think that these are just the group stages. These guys are giving it their absolute all here in this, in of course, this best of 3 series, this game 3 that really determines a lot here. Now these stalkers are going to find this War Prism. Looks like they are going to get the kill on that War Prism. That is a massive pickup there. Does look like some of these adepts does not look like they're probably going to shade in here, but they are going to get a little bit of some scouting information and go home. But nonetheless, both players are really trying to test the waters here. They're also giving each other a lot of respect, though, at the same time, and I like that a lot. There's a lot of respect to go around here for both these players. And we're just going to have to kind of see here what ends up happening in the later stages of this game. Because now, guys, we're approaching, you know, passing the 9-minute mark. We're getting close to that 10-minute mark. So the question is now, what are both players going to do here to transition into, you know, more of a macro-focused army? And the army compositions are pretty similar as well. You're seeing the heavy immortals as well as some of the sentries. And then, of course, you're getting some of those stalkers and adepts out as well. Even more interesting, you got some of these Dark Templar as well that are here. Now we do have Archon a couple of Archons being constructed here as well. So I'm wondering if we're going to see a push here by sOs. I'm thinking it looks like he wants to go in for a push against his opponent, and he's got a pretty nice sized army here to kind of to take on this massive army that is about to start heading towards Zest. And Zest is going to have to get prepared here relatively quick, because this is going to be a pretty massive force that is going to start moving in here towards that main, or that natural base expansion here. And it looks like sOs is not afraid. He's going to start moving in with some brilliant micro here. He might be able to just overwhelm his opponent here. Does look like Zest is going to try and do what he can to warp in some more units. And it looks like right now, at this point, there are some of those adepts that are looking to shade, threatening to shade, but do not do so. And it looks like both players are still pretty even, at least at this point, but it looks like sOs wants more. He wants to go ahead and start really taking out this army bit by bit here. He is going right after a bunch of those Immortals, and somehow, some way, the Immortals are still alive here. Beautiful play by both of these players. Just playing this absolutely textbook here as we approach the 11-minute mark. The question is who's got the advantage, at least at this point? The supplies are still so close. Who's going to break through here? The defense of Zest is absolutely brilliant, but sOs is still trying to push on here. He's trying to push onward, and he keeps on pushing towards his opponent, towards that natural expansion. The question is can Zest hold on right here and right now? If he holds on, he might be able to win this match and win this series against his opponent. This best of 3 comes down to this. sOs is doing so much to try to push his opponent back. Beautiful play here, the beautiful pickup micro by Zest, but I think sOs might have just been able to break through, or is he overextending is the big question here. sOs absolutely just trying to take on this army, and oh my god, the amount of course, Stalkers as well as these Immortals doing so much value and giving so much value to sOs right now at this point in the game. sOs is still not out of this thing. He still does have an army, but he is losing so much value to this army of sOs, who's playing this thing absolutely brilliantly right now, going right after so much of this economy. The question is, Zest has to make a decision. He's going to move in and he's going to try to surround this army right here and right now. Beautiful pickup micro once again by Zest. The question is it going to be enough? Zest somehow, some way, may be taking advantage of the overextension by sOs. Oh my god. What an intense series of events here by both of these players. Somehow, some way, Zest held on there against his opponent, and he's behind, right? He is behind, for sure. But Zest just held on there, and that was saying a lot for this Protoss player. He was able to hold on. Now, sOs at this point is probably, just going to go ahead, go back into, of course, creating more and more units. He knows he's ahead. So there's no need to rush this push here. But I gotta say, Zest played that absolutely brilliantly. A little bit of an overextension definitely hurt, and here we go. Even a bigger army, though, is starting to move in, and it does look like sOs wants to finish this series right here and right now, going after all of these units and after the natural nexus here. If he takes down that natural nexus, it could be GG, and we're going to have to wait and see if Zest, he wants to kind of approach this very, very cautiously. He still has a decent army here. Is sOs going to overextend once again? And it looks like with the beautiful pickup micro once again with the big, a massive warp in here, more and more of these adepts are going to try to overwhelm the opponent, which is Zest. This is absolutely going to be huge if sOs gets the win here. GG is finally called, and sOs wins this series, coming back from a 1-0, being down 1-0 and winning this series 2-1 in an absolutely epic, incredible PvP matchup in the group stages of Blizzcon. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Zest and sOs, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for new, stay positive, and as always, I will see you guys all in the next one. Peace.